So I guess we were pretty stressed out for no reason because the nerds crunched the numbers and they figured out a way to have Kershaw clinch it in San Francisco against Bumgarner. Welcome to this NLDS Championship edition of the Best Coast Show. I am your host, Albert Aguilera. That is my producer, Curtis Stage. Curtis, we know what's on the rundown.
Oh, we finally clinched?
We finally clinched.
It was stressful. So can we fire Donnie now? That's on the rundown. Division title, 3 straight years. Mets matchup, we got to talk about that. Cespedes is hurt. What happens there? Young players making an impact on the Dodgers. Who starts, who doesn't start? And then we're 1 game back at the Mets for home field advantage for the division, so we got to talk about that. That's probably where we should start.
Yeah, we clinched finally. The Mets clinched. Everyone is clinched now, right? So the matchups are locked in. No matter what, we have the Mets, but the home field advantage is still up in the air. We're 1 game back. We got 4 games left. Does home field advantage really matter?
I mean, I think it does because the Dodgers were pretty horrible on the road most of the season.
We sucked on the road.
And the Mets, play well in New York. So, and just the travel, I'd rather them just stay here on the West Coast and leading up to the playoffs instead of having to go out there. Kershaw's lights out at home. Greinke's pretty lights out at home, and we need those 2 wins. When you're on the road, I mean, I trust both those pitchers on the road, but I think we need home field advantage. I think
so too. Because again, we did play much better on the road, much better at home than we do on the road. But here's what pisses me off about the playoffs, especially playing the Mets or any East Coast team. We're going to be playing on a random Tuesday, on a random Wednesday, and the game's going to start at like 1:45 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then all these guys on TV that are doing the play-by-play are going to start talking shit about LA fans and how, Dodger fans don't go to games, and look how empty the stadium looks, blah, blah, blah. And what people don't get is that we have the largest baseball stadium, exclusive baseball stadium.
And the worst parking.
And the worst parking, but it's the largest baseball stadium in North America for baseball only. It seats 56,000 people. So when it looks half empty, it's still a sellout anywhere else.
Exactly.
And it's 1:45 on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
we're at work. We have lives and really, 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 really bad traffic. But they set up these playoff games so that they cater for the East Coast so that these people can get home and watch as they get home.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 1 game back, we play the Padres to end the season. Greinke said he wants to pitch a full game on Saturday. That's awesome because he wants to get his 19th win.
Yeah, and he's also going to be off for like 6 days in between starts.
So he said, I want to pitch a full game. Kershaw is going to go a shorter game on Sunday, apparently. He just needs 6 strikeouts to get to the 300 mark. We don't have a lot of time to
And a Cy Young?
Okay, it's a 3-person race for the Cy Young, and now I think it's really between Kershaw and Arrieta, just because Greinke hasn't looked good the last couple games. But, I mean, all year Greinke, I think, has been the best pitcher in the National League, but Arrieta's great. We don't have time to get into that because we'll probably have a Cubs episode if we play the Cubs in the playoffs. But, so can we fire Donnie now?
No.
I mean, we can't.
I mean, as much as we like to say, hey, fire Donnie, he's not a good manager. He gets outmanaged in the playoffs and all this stuff. You can't make an argument for firing a guy that's led a franchise, a 125-year-old franchise that's never made the playoffs 3 consecutive years. He did it. I mean, maybe the club made it in spite of him. Maybe it's because his payroll is so high. But I mean, he did something no other manager's ever done for the Dodgers in their history. They've been around for 125 years. No one's ever done this before. We were in first place. We were 9 games up at one point. You can't fire a guy that's had some success to get you into the playoffs. But if he doesn't win it this year, we're going to start with the argument again. Well, we got to fire him because we can't win a World Series. I'll probably be leading that wagon.
It's nonstop. Okay, so this division title 3 straight years, that's pretty awesome. I can't actually believe that's the case. I mean,
it's one of those baseball stats. It's like
it's a weird one.
So-and-so's never done this on such day and time, and then boom, he does it.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those baseball stats that's a stat within a stat within a stat where you're kind of like, really? They've never, in 125 years, they've never won their division 3 years in a row? I guess not.
It just doesn't seem logical that that's even possible.
Right.
I mean, I just don't even... Anyway, it's exciting for us as Dodger fans. It was stressful because we weren't playing good the last couple weeks. We had the lowest batting average in the National League for like 3 weeks. We couldn't get runners in. There was a moment there when Renicky took over at third base and we were stealing bases. We were, Carl Crawford came back off the disabled list and we started stealing bases and stuff.
And then all of our guys started pulling their hamstrings.
And then everybody started
Maybe
getting
that's
hurt.
why we weren't stealing bases.
Okay. Maybe we just don't want to run fast. We just want to hit home runs and that's it?
Yes.
See, I know that half the Dodger fans out there are into the home run ball, and the other half are into small ball and fundamental. And I'm kind of somewhere in between, because when you get to the playoffs against a good pitching staff like the Mets, there's not going to be a lot of long balls. I mean, DeGrom is not going to throw meatballs up there for people to hit over the fence. These are going to be 2-1, 3-2 games where you got to play fundamental baseball. You got to move runners over. You
No
got to
bunting.
steal.
No
Maybe no
bunting.
bunting, but steal. And we got some fast guys on the team. So, this Mets matchup is going to be interesting. So, what are we looking for with this Mets matchup? What's
Well, I'm hoping that we can go up there, and you want the guys to be aggressive because they're not hitting. But because they're not hitting, it's like take some pitches, force Harvey to throw. And they have, he doesn't want to.
So
say
Harvey's going to be the starter against Kershaw.
I'm assuming that's what the matchup's going to be. Kershaw, Harvey for one, DeGrom and Greinke. Hair versus hair for number 2.
Oh, I love it.
But
wait, let's time out.
Who's got the better hair?
Who's got better hair? Because they both have some sweet
here's
lettuce.
the thing. Like, I like, and I'm being biased here, right? Of course, because he's on my team. But I like Greinke's hair because it's long and luscious, and he could be doing this.
It's a little more combed. It's a little bit more styled, maybe.
It is, and I can only assume him being in LA, he's gotten offers for shampoo commercials.
Yes.
But DeGrom's hair
Could
looks
you see
cool.
Greinke in a shampoo commercial?
I could see him in a shampoo commercial.
Would he even talk? Would he just hold the bottle up and just show his hair?
No,
He
I
wouldn't say
think it
anything.
would just be like him just
Stare. He would just
like that.
stare.
But with DeGrom's hair, I think DeGrom's hair,
It's kind of greasy.
yeah, I mean, you look at it and you're like, oh, that's really cool, but you're not saying that. Your college version of yourself was saying that because when you were 20, 21, you had long, greasy, frizzy hair and were unkempt.
Yeah.
So, Greinke.
Okay.
Greinke's got the
All
better
right. So
hair. It
Greinke better
flows.
hair.
It's luscious.
That's going to be a great pitching matchup. Both those pitchers are awesome. I give the edge to Greinke if we're at home for sure.
Right.
Okay, so the pitching matchup is key. After Kershaw and Greinke, of course, all season we've been worried about this. The Mets have better 3 and 4 than we do. So this is going to be, we need to win these first 2 games. I mean, I think it's pretty imperative.
I mean, Brett Anderson's done a really great job for us, all things considered. I mean, he's not going out there getting shelled. No one expected him to throw more than 10 games this year.
Yeah.
And he's been healthy the whole year.
ERA's under 4, so that's good. What about Cespedes? This is a big deal here.
Well, this Cespedes thing, it's like when Hanley got hit in the ribs. Cespedes, he got hit in the hand. He's got a contusion. 2 of his fingers are bruised, but they're not broken. The x-rays came back negative. But how bad of a contusion is it? I mean, playoffs start in a week. Can he grip a bat 7 days from now?
Yeah. I mean, he's been the hottest player in the National League.
Yeah.
Arguably the last month.
He's looking for a home. He wants an extension somewhere, anywhere,
a perfect place
where
for
he's
him.
not going to get traded every 9 months because this guy's been getting traded every year at the deadline.
Why is that? I mean, he's Puig. I mean,
What it
he
is,
might be better than Puig.
What it is that he gets traded to a team that's in contention. That team ends up getting eliminated. Then they realize they can't afford him, and then they trade him for prospects to another team that's contending. And he's just in this vicious cycle, and it's like he's hoping that someone somewhere will love him enough not to trade him.
He's not as marketable as Puig. He's not as, kind of flashy as Puig, but he's a solid
Yeah.
player, and I'm afraid of him in the playoffs. But he's the only guy. Uribe's hurt right now,
Yes.
too. So, I mean...
And we have guys that are hurt, too, because they can't run. They have no hammies.
Yeah.
But, that leads us to our thing where it's no Puig, right? I'm not expecting him to be
We
ready
haven't had him
in the next
for
week.
2 months, really.
But who do we start on the field? I don't want to go with Jock. I like Kike playing center field. I like the idea.
Why?
Because Jock can't hit for shit.
Okay.
That's what we always talk about. He's feast or famine. He's not hitting.
And we don't need home runs right now. We need base hits. We need runners moving over. And Kike will hit you a home run if he needs to, but he's just a spark plug.
Yeah, and then Corey's been doing really great.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
Corey had I believe it's a Dodger record to start your career 21 consecutive games where you get on base.
Yeah, he's
And that's what we
been
need.
their best player the last 20 days, 20 games. And how do you get him in the lineup though? Because the case can be made for Rollins that he's been there before. He's a team leader. His defense is still better than Seager right now. So, I mean, you want to be there with defense. So, what do you do there? I mean, Turner...
I mean, late inning replacements, you can have them come in off the bench because you could do the same thing with Kendrick and Utley, right? Kendrick came off the DL. Kendrick, he's getting better.
Yeah.
But there's
He's
also
still
that
not
right there.
100%, yeah.
And then Turner over at third base, he's been not as hot as we're accustomed to. It's not that he's not playing poorly. We're just accustomed to having him play so
He's
well.
cooled down.
Yeah.
But that was primarily because he got hurt. I mean, he's been suffering.
Gonzo had the stiff back, which he's apparently okay from now.
Yeah, he'll be fine. I mean, this is just a end of the season rest thing for Gonzo. We need him hitting though. I really think they need to, figure out a way to make sure that Seager's getting some at bats. I think pitchers, the Mets haven't faced Seager, So they've done some scouting probably obviously on him, but they haven't faced him. So I have a feeling Seager's going to do well in this series against
No, I
them.
hope so.
Because he
How
wasn't on
crazy
the
would
team.
that be, right? He just comes up in September and then World Series MVP.
That'd be crazy. That'd be good. Okay, so what's our gift of the day?
All right, guys, gift of the day. You guys may remember this because this was probably you all of last week. I know it was me. I was hoping that we would clinch. The Dodgers were giving me ulcers, and this kid is just, doing the sign of the cross. Come on, let's go. Because he wanted to clinch. We finally clinched, so now let's start doing the sign of the cross, and let's hope we get all the way through the playoffs, and we're not going to be asking to fire Donnie in mid-October. But that's our show. Don't forget to stalk us on Twitter at Best Coast Show. Let's go Dodgers, and you guys have a good night.